Yeah, so...
Oh, that's not working out.
Oh, no.
You swallow loud. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Freedom Alchemist podcast. Where we try our best to share conversations and ideas that will help you create freedom no matter if you feel stuck or if your circumstances are a bit crappy. And Kate and I are both freedom junkies. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of our decisions are made around, like, if in our relationship, it's funny, we attracted each other as a couple too, because we're kind of, we get each other really well in that way. And
usually it's polar opposite with these sorts of things.
I would say, like, someone's really into routine and comfort and like safety, and the other one's into like being wild. I think you and I both need an adventure. Weirdly, I'm more of a homebody in some ways. You're like an Australian who's just ready to travel anywhere.
Always ready to take off and experience something new. Whereas Paul...
I did that in my 20s. Man, when you're 20, you'll understand.
I was like, I just wouldn't be cozy.
Well, now I spend it feels like 20s and 30s in hotels. And it's nice when I'm at home, I have my microphones and
what's also funny is he seems like the really social one, like the really extroverted, outgoing one, and I seem like more introverted. But I'm the one that always arranges all of our social things. But then when we're having them, I end up like kind of managing the environment and being quieter and sort of, and he's like, da, da, da. And he's like, why don't we have friends over more? But
this is awesome.
When I say it, he's, I don't know. So it's just a little like, it's moving out of the comfort, right? And but we work. We do work. And I think if either one of us were with someone that wasn't as obsessed with freedom as the other one, it would be a problem, because it's so important to us that if someone limits us in any way in that way, it's just like, ugh, like it's really gross. So, yeah. And it's you're always kind of got your eye and you're fighting for my freedom in a sense too, because you get me so well. Like, that both of us, that we wouldn't be happy in a relationship where there was a lack of freedom. Who is really, like, let's be real here. Like, who is? But I think some people will accept it.
Yeah, rarely do you have someone else fighting for your freedom, though.
Yeah.
Which is a really unique and special thing.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't work otherwise, I don't think.
We wouldn't.
Yeah.
We wouldn't. So, but today we wanted to speak about something that we've been experiencing.
Yeah,
it's a big conversation out there at the moment.
Yeah, there's a cultural zeitgeist happening around this topic of drinking or being sober, and by choice. Like, not necessarily everyone's feeling they're an alcoholic, but a lot of people are going like, hey, I stopped drinking and I feel amazing.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that, especially in the health and wellness space, which we are.
Maybe that's just what we're involved, but we see it everywhere.
Are you guys seeing that? Let us know in the comments. We make it a video that hopefully you're seeing that too. But I think you know what I mean.
I think the younger generation definitely, because of social media and everyone with cameras, I think, alcohol creates inhibition, and when you're uninhibited, you sometimes do really stupid things.
And now everybody will see it.
And everyone will film it, and then you'll be made publicly ridiculed on the internet forever. So I think that's a very practical way to think about it. I don't know if kids think that way. I think they do.
Do you?
Because unfortunately we're so obsessed with self-image right now and become a very narcissist sort of culture.
Maybe.
So nobody, and if you want to one day have a great career or a wonderful partner and a great family, and then there's this video out there of you being, whatever, it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
So I think the younger generation is definitely not moving towards alcohol in the way that youth has always sort of done it. And so it's shifted there. And there's the rise of all these non-alcoholic beers and wines. And so, because I think what was missing before was options. If you didn't drink, there was nowhere to go to meet people or to socialize, and if you went there, you would feel like
right. And if someone offered you a drink and you're like no, they're like, oh, what's something wrong? Are you okay? Yeah. That was the stigma around it. Now in 2025, if you go to a restaurant and they're like, what are you drinking? I was like, do you have any non-alcoholic IPAs? They get excited now. They're like, yes, we do. We have da-da-da. And before they might be like, wait, what? Like, no, we don't. Just look, there's something changing.
Yeah.
Something great.
I mean, it's going to be another $1 billion industry and it could just be commercialized again. But
why not?
I think it's healthier and it has people feel like they can be a part of something without the impacts of what alcohol does. Now we went away on a trip and we both just simultaneously were like, I'm just going to like stop drinking. And we're not being
back that up a bit. We were in Asia, Vietnam and Thailand, and on a cruise ship with a drink package that was given to us. It was such a generous gift and so beautiful. And everyone knows we had a premier drink package, and it's still the quality of alcohol is really important when you're trying to take care of yourself and remember your name in your last decade. But then we got off, of course, in Vietnam and in Thailand, and we were like at dinners and having cocktails and having drinks and it's in a beer here and there. And it's like Kate and I are very light drinkers.
Yeah. So we really love high quality biodynamic red wine.
Organic.
And it's with meals. We're not like,
and it's very
let's
specific.
just
it's like
crack a bottle and drink it.
Really. Yes. And so we don't drink much.
But yeah, so we came back from this trip and we both, because it had been more than our usual, we both felt it. We were, and then I was, I'm going to have a break. And he's, I'm going to have a break. And we didn't set a time. We weren't like, oh, let's do this or let's get to this date. It wasn't any of that. It was very casual. And we've just sort of landed on 3 months. Like we're up to 3 months at this point. We just
passed 3 months a couple days ago.
Yeah. And we're, maybe we'll have wine with a really beautiful meal or something. Yeah, we're kind of getting to the point where we're like, okay.
It wouldn't be worth it, but it was such a beautiful waking up in the morning. Like, what are some things that you noticed pretty quick for yourself? Like from that?
Okay, I'm going to say that, like, especially for the ladies out there, and men too, but even though I drink very little, if I do it, a glass of wine 3 times a week, I notice that my belly gets like that jelly belly. So I notice the inflammation in my body from drinking the wine. So that's one of the biggest things I notice that like doesn't feel great or good. And yeah, just a level of just not as crisp in your mind, like not without it, waking up is really easy.
Yeah, the mornings were surprisingly different. Just the way you get out of bed, even from having a glass or 2 or a glass and a half before and with dinner, and fitness wise, clarity, focus, a lot of it just got better and better and better. It started off going like, oh, it feels good, and then a new level of maybe it was liver function, because your liver, when it doesn't have to process alcohol, gives you a lot of energy and a lot of anger is there in your liver. And so if you're smashing yourself with booze all the time, that liver is taking a whooping.
Hence why a lot of alcoholics or people that, binge drink get angry and aggressive. And it's because the alcohol is being processed in the liver, and the liver is what holds like the emotion of resentment and anger. And so that's why what you see people become mean drunks or whatever, and it's because it's totally associated with that organ.
And it's amazing. Just there was a level of optimism that creeped in, and I'm very optimistic as it is, but there was even more optimism just about the future, about less overwhelm, less feelings of like, and I really looked forward to my glass of wine with dinner. There's a couple nights I'd like one. Then once the non-alcoholic beer came into the picture, sometimes if we have something spicy, I don't want.
Which is just come into the picture in the last week, basically, of the 3 months.
It's true. The alternative we had was a poppy soda once in a while, which is like
a prebiotic soda,
like very low in sugar, and it would give us something. I made this beautiful meal, and it felt sacrilege to have like a prebiotic soda with it.
See, I feel weird about drinking beer with meals. It's like, for me, it's like wine or forget about it.
Forget about it. Well, I can read over some of the benefits based on science. I'll just read them very quickly. So in your brain, This is what happens when you stop drinking. Sharper focus and memory. Alcohol impairs cognitive function and disrupts sleep cycles. Quitting improves clarity and productivity. We noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Improved mood stability. So alcohol is a depressant that can worsen anxiety and depression. Avoiding it helps you regulate your moods more naturally. Better sleep. Alcohol fragments your sleep and suppresses REM. Without it, you get deeper, more restorative. And I had a whoop, and I could see my quality of sleep.
Yeah.
Like I would go out and I'd just be gone. And we'd wake up sweating and hot.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that
was the worst part.
That's awful. I mean, and they do say for hormones and women, it's literally as 40 onwards, every drink is really robbing you of a good sleep, of calm sleep, of your hormones regulating. So it can bring on perimenopause faster, which is wild.
That is wild.
And I want to say this. So perimenopause, usually you'll follow, like it's quite a genetic imprint. So usually what your mother experienced is usually what you'll experience. So if she went into perimenopause very early, you usually will. If she went very late, you usually will. So that is one of the biggest factors of when you enter into menopause. But your lifestyle and your diet and what you do with neurotoxins like alcohol really has an impact too. And it can impact the severity of the symptoms of menopause. Okay. So, they do say the Mediterranean diet is the number one thing, which is amazing for hormones because all the olive oil and it's just like fresh food and fresh meat and all of that sort of stuff. So, but they say up to, I don't know, a cup of olive oil a day because think of those Greek salads, they are just swimming in it, so I think for women especially, if you want to feel really vibrant, then alcohol is one of the things that really robs you.
And here's why. So we talked about the liver. So inside your body, the liver begins healing almost immediately after stopping alcohol, improving your detoxification and your hormone balance. I don't think people realize how much the liver affects hormones. Weight loss. Alcohol contains empty calories, increasing your sugar cravings and disrupts your metabolism. So your metabolism will come back online. Higher energy levels. Without alcohol taxing your system, your mitochondria function better and natural energy returns. So this is your hormones. So alcohol disrupts testosterone, estrogen, cortisol regulation. You will actually experience improved physical performance. So your recovery, muscle repair, strength gains, that'll improve without alcohol slowing you down. And you also boost your immune function. So alcohol weakens your immune defenses and making you more prone to illness. Read this last one about relationship because that's fascinating.
Okay, so it's saying relationships and purpose, stronger emotional connections, you're more present, clear, and emotionally available.
I agree with that.
Before we move on, so we have someone in that we know very well that is a very high functioning alcoholic. However, it's screamingly obvious that their level of stress is through the roof. Any tiny thing they cannot deal with, like any decision to make is really challenging. Things trigger them so quickly. And this is a gorgeous, wonderful human being. But the impact is so present that and that's why then they turn to drink more because they can't. Their brain is literally, your brain is shrinking, which is insane. It's literally getting smaller. You're shrinking your gray matter. And so especially alcoholics, and that's why they get dementia so much earlier and things like that, because they're literally poisoning themselves to death. Yeah, but you're shrinking your brain, so then any issue comes up, you don't know how to deal with it. You're like, and you just see them spiral so quickly, and everything's so overwhelming. Hence, then you got to grab for another drink to then calm the nervous system again, and that's what the vicious cycle is.
Right.
But yeah, so, and obviously you get more with not doing alcohol, you get more self-control, more confidence, and increased motivation. So it seems like
this part's really cool. With fewer lows and foggy days, your drive to take action and pursue your goals returns.
Yeah.
I love that. And so we experienced that in the last 90 days.
Which is why we haven't been like, and also the beautiful thing was I haven't had a desire. And I'm an Australian.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna like, I mean, he didn't really drink, but it was in my blood. It was in, it's such a part of our culture to drink. And to just be like, I don't really feel like it, and I didn't even have a strong why, which is something that we always have, but we're not addictive people. We don't have addictions. Like, we don't battle with that. Thank goodness. It's not part of our personality trait, either of us. So it's really easy for us to pick something up or let it go, or it's not hard, which I understand that's not everyone's story. And some people find it incredibly hard, and like that's when you need support.
Yeah. And you might need to change your environment altogether. Like if you're not just get rid of the alcohol in your house, but change your habits or go someplace that's different where you have those habits that just want to do the same thing over and over again because you're so comfortable and you're used to it.
You don't have to go far to see all of the stats that now alcohol is terrible for you. And they used to say that a glass of red wine was good for you, and it's not, and all these sorts of things. But then my question is, okay, if that is true, why then are all the people in Italy and France, they drink wine with every meal, at lunch and at dinner, and, it's like, and then they'll have champagne, and like, it's a whole thing. Yeah. But, so I was like, why are they living longer, have less heart conditions? What's the deal? And so what we discovered, I mean, it makes sense. So if you transplanted yourself into a different culture, then it's easier to quit something, right? If you travel, it's easier to totally shift your life. It's when, and the beautiful example of that is during the Vietnam War, so many of the soldiers were completely addicted to heroin. And then when they all came home, most of them were no longer addicted because they were out of the environment.
Yeah, there wasn't an opium den on the corner by the 7-Eleven. There's like they come back here and there's not opium everywhere. There's not the whole they're in a totally different environment.
There's no triggers that's I walked in the house, I'm going to pour myself a beer, right? There's different triggers, and the triggers for I'm going to go and have some heroin were just not there, right? So
hard to get.
So most of them kicked this very intense habit very quickly. So that is the perfect example of how environment impacts us so greatly, which is why this is something Paul and I care deeply about, and it's in our big program, it is the number one thing we address is environment. Because if you can address your environment of both internally of your body, externally of everything that you consume and that you see, then you are setting yourself up powerfully for success. So if you transplanted yourself to Italy and France, why is it that you may get healthier rather than sicker? And it's a couple of different things here. So this portions is number one, right? They all have loads of different courses, and you sit, I remember
portions.
Much smaller portions, delicious, delectable, so satiating, those portions, rich, full of all of the butters and all the things. They have the breads, they have all the things, but it's not like full of crap. It doesn't have glyphosates, which is Roundup. There's none of the toxic chemicals, and a lot of the food is created fresh. So you're eating higher quality food. Also, I remember my ex-fiance is French, and we, dinners would start at 4 p.m. and go till 11 sometimes, and it was slow and luxurious, and it's my favorite. I was like, I'm always trying to sit at the table. I can't stand when people get up and start clearing things. I'm like, this is time to connect and talk and be.
Yeah. After an hour at a dinner table, I'm ready for
the next thing.
For the next adventure. I don't mind long, deep chats, but I tap out around, I'd say 90 minutes. I'm ready for a change. I'm going to get off my butt and go for a walk.
Well, me, 4-hour dinners and 4-hour lunches, fantastic. You know,
I mean, if there's good music and I'm making the food and there's good wine and there's
and you get to
piano,
play the music.
Yeah, and I've created all the courses and there's really good conversation and good friends, maybe a board game, so I don't get too bored. It's right there if you want it. Yeah.
No, I'm going this way.
Same one.
The portions and the time and they luxuriate
binge
in
drinking
eating.
is rare as well.
Yeah, because it's like there's quality over quantity. People just sip slowly and really appreciate it all. It's not this like just shovel it all in, get drunk, get pissed, and like
get rich.
Like let's do shots. It's like none of that culture.
It's
very
culture.
Yeah, and so there's less stress. They don't have work as the be all and end all. They have family and connection and great food as the thing. And it's like, where did we all go so wrong? Like,
that's right.
Yeah. So the lifestyle factors really are such a big part of it. And there was this great quote, I think Dr. Mark Hyman said, "It's not about the wine, it's about the life around the wine."
Mm.
And so I think that's beautiful. I think when you are in a lower stress environment and you're not consuming all of the hideous things in the SAD diet, standard American diet.
It makes you sad.
It does make you sad, like literally makes you depressed.
Yeah.
Then your body can manage and deal with the alcohol without problem, and if you're not guzzling, right? So I think that is where we're like, oh, that the French do it, the Italians do it. Why can't I do it? And I think, I've used that many a time.
Yeah.
But it's just a different lifestyle and it's a different level of stress.
They don't have the packaged food. They eat real food, a lot of vegetables, high quality fats, and they walk more. All of it. The quality of their alcohol is like old world and less alcohol.
Connoisseurism instead of consumption.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you are a connoisseur of anything, it's almost like you are in reverence to that thing, whether it's coffee, whether it's wine, whether it's your cigar, it doesn't matter. But if you are like, oh, this is, I spent the money and I'm going to really honor this particular thing, whatever the thing is that you love, then you're not mindless
unless you're an addict. If you're an addict, they'll just be, oh, this is the best cocaine I've ever had.
Well, but
it doesn't work for it doesn't work for everybody. If you have a very addictive personality and you haven't drank for a while, you having the best whiskey out there is still going to make you go back to your drinking. So it doesn't work if someone's an addict. But it is the best way to avoid substance abuse if you're a person who wants to have a healthy relationship with substances. Connoisseurism is a great way to avoid substance abuse and consumption. And one of my teacher's partners told me that like 20 years ago, and it stuck with me. As had this moment with him, and it was pretty. I'll never forget it. And he said that to me very casually. Dropped a mic on me. It stuck with me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the moral to the story, boys and girls. I think connoisseurism instead of consumption. Really appreciate and love whatever you're putting into your body, whatever you're doing, and make, if it's more of a ritual, and which is what the French and Italians do. It's a ritual when they eat. It's not shove it in and get back to the office or back to the desk. It's really thoughtful.
This is the quote. The bottom line is you can't import the wine habit without importing the entire lifestyle. And that's what most Western countries miss. And this is your quote. It's not about the wine. It's about the life around the wine. And then Huberman adds to this complex, even small amounts of alcohol impair sleep, cognition and mood, and those effects are dose dependent and cumulative. So overall, like our experience was, it was beautiful to take a rest and a break from this. And so in your life, look at what you consume on a daily basis. And if it's become a habit, it's not going to get easier to release that habit. So you may as well start now and take a break and sit on the edge of your bed and say, is this making my life better or worse? And if the answer is worse, then set aside some time and tell people, as many people as you can, that you're taking a break from it.
Yeah.
Start with 30 days or 60 days and just see how you feel. And if it's alcohol for you, we can contest and share that was our experience. It was beautiful. It was and not a challenge because we did it together. Our environment she wasn't there ripping alcohol or ripping tequila while
doing shots in the kitchen.
That would just make me not want to do it. You're like, what is she doing? She smokes in the kitchen.
No, I think everything is good to have a pause. Having a pause from meat for a small portion of time. I mean, what we teach and share a lot of is, elimination diets. We're not a fan of diets in general, but eliminating a certain thing for a period of time, like eliminating all dairy for 2 months, can have an incredible impact on
You'll
someone.
see, or even grains or bread or certain
all of that. So
sugar, for sure. Do a sugar elimination diet and just watch how addicted you are. That's harder than heroin, they say.
Yeah. I mean, and salt, even eliminating salt for a period of time.
Not too long.
We love salt.
Your cells need salt to communicate.
It does. But if you're detoxing, you want to eliminate salt so that the cells can open up and pull all the junk out. So
for a very short period of time.
Yeah. There's so much beauty in eliminating for a short period. Like anything that just becomes the humdrum of your life means that more of your life becomes the humdrum.
Yeah.
Like pulling something out of your life can, and I think that's, for when they give things up for Lent and Ramadan and all of there's so many religions
fast,
that really encourage this, like to give up something you truly love for a period of time. And I just think it's brilliant. Brilliant.
One of my favorite books is Essentialism by Greg McKeown, and it talks about less but better. So we're in a culture of more.
Consume everything.
Consume more electronics, more clothes, more food, and it's to go the opposite of culture would be less but better. So less, like much higher quality and much less of your food. If you want to still eat the yummy food, just eat a lot less of it. Like as long as it's real food, and it'll
satiate you and feel way better in your body.
Slow down, and so the mantra is less but better. And it goes against our culture of just total consumerism, and where everyone's just trying to get more, and that clouds your mind. It makes you anxious, makes you depressed. And so creating a little bit of space, not just with your food, but in your lifestyle, to get less stuff that surrounds you is also a really beautiful way to connect to your inner guidance system. And I think we're just smashing ourselves with food, and you never hear the warning
social
signs.
Media and news and stuff in your house. Like, so much stuff.
But if you slow down and you eat less but better, you're going to also start to recognize the foods that make you feel like crap because you've slowed down a bit and you're present to it. So
presence is the present.
Yeah. That is the gift. All right, everyone. We just wanted to share our story with you on our journey with that. We're not telling you what to do. We just share with you what our experience was, and then share the science around why, what drinking consistently will do to your health in the long term. It will not give you a long, beautiful life if you consume it every single day.
Unless you live in Italy or France.
Then that's the life around the wine.
Yeah.
But still, that's wine. That's not smashing hard alcohol.
Exactly.
And it just depends what your goal is too in life. But this, really check in with yourself and be honest with yourself. If there's a substance in your life that is diminishing your experience or lowering the quality of your life, and be really honest and say, would my life be better if I got rid of and then take a break from it and see how you feel.
And alcohol is a big disconnector. And sometimes we feel we need to disconnect from life in order to chill, right?
With all the information smashing us.
And so I totally understand it.
Yeah, man.
But if it's also disconnecting you from people you love and the relationships around you are not what you want them to be, like if you suddenly fell ill and you don't think a bunch of people would rush to be there by your side, then think about that. Like, is connecting more important than you disconnecting?
Right. It's a good question. So if you have just found us, please subscribe and turn on your dingers so you'll know when we go live. Dinger's an alarm or a bell. It's a dinger. My dinger just went off. Turn on your notification so you know when we go live, because we sometimes do that. Thanks so much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please share and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye for now.